The purpose of this experiment was to examine the results of fava bean plants after two different variables were put onto the plants.
The two different variables added were aphids and lady beetles.
Aphids are small black bugs that feed off the sap of plants. Lady beetles are beetles that eat aphid.
Our hypothesis of this experiment was, can a fava bean plant grow and survive once aphids were added to the environment?
We predicted that the control plant will survive and the plants with the insects added will die.
We first started the experiment with 4 flower pots, filled to the first line with soil, and then we placed 2 fava beans in each pot underneath the topsoil. We then placed the pots on the shelves with the other plants and after adding light water.
After 5 weeks of natural growth, we measured and prepared the plants for the bugs to be introduced.
The first plant was labeled aphids and measured to be 32.5 centimeters long. The second plant was labeled aphids and lady beetles and was 35 centimeters long. Lastly, this was the controlled plant that measured 40 centimeters long.
Preparation that took place before the bugs were introduced included putting a cut 2-liter bottle on top of the pots and closing the sides and tops with netting and continuing watering the plants as well.
Once the netting was set in place and taped off, the bugs were added to the designated plants.
After we added the bugs to the desired pots, we recorded the plant's conditions for about 3 weeks. The data before we added the bugs was presented as so. The control plant measured in at 40 centimeters, the pot with the aphids measured 32.5 centimeters, and the pot with both the aphids and lady beetles presented 35 centimeters.
For the first week of the bugs being in the netting on the plants, the measurements are as so. The pot with the aphids is 32.5 centimeters with 4 visible aphids. The pot with the aphids and lady beetles is 42.5 centimeters and 0 visible bugs for either species, and the control has died off completely.
For the third and last week of measurements, the pot with the aphids measured at 28 centimeters and was limp with no visible bugs. The plant with both species was 40 centimeters with no visible bugs, and the control plant was no longer visible in the pot.
Our data showed a steady decline in both plants with bugs presented on them and showed a drastic decline for the control plant.
As a class, the data showed a steady decrease with more aphids being added to the plants and a slower yet almost as equal decrease concerning the plants with both insects on them.
With every experiment comes errors. Some of the errors that could have taken place for the control plant could have been that there was too much watering or too much sunlight or vice versa. Regarding the plants with the insects on them, some of the bugs could have gotten out of the nettings, and as well as some of the plants could have had an uneven number of bugs on them.
These errors could have altered the data and could have regressed some of the progress of the plant's growth. If redoing this experiment, these are some of the concerns that need to be taken into consideration.
Conclusion, our prediction was proven to be correct regarding the statement that the plants with the bugs will decline in growth. Regarding our control plant, that did not go in our favor as the control died off completely before the plants with the bugs.
As an experiment in total, we believe it was a success, and the data presented from our group and from the class provided great feedback and scientific research regarding the experiment.